Howdy. So I was just going through my Spotify again, and I thought, hey, you guys probably haven't heard of this, unless you're from a little couple of islands in the South Pacific. This is an album by a guy called Troy Kingi, called The Ghost of Freddie Ceaser. And I was thinking about it, and I'm going to make a big call here. I think it could be the best soul funk album ever made. You know, what can I say? I've seen a few of them, I've heard a few of them, I've seen a few covers. This is the cover of that one. Came out, when did it come out? A few years ago, let me have a look. Ghost of Freddie Ceaser. Wow, 2020, 5 years ago. And I've probably played this 1,000 times in 5 years. It's, I think it's the album that Curtis Mayfield wish he would have made. Can't say anymore. Bloody brilliant album, Ghost of Freddie Ceaser. I don't know if I'm allowed to play much more because it might get all, you know, taken offline or something like that. I don't know. But, yes, check that out. Now, I was going to have a chat about this album, but then I realised, I don't know if I can be bothered. So, what are we going to do instead? I know what I'll do. This is a little riff I've come up with, and I'll see what you think. I'm trying to, now, I've got some lyrics, but we'll see. But this is a general riff. Probably without the fret buzzing and all that kind of carry on. But that's the general idea. So, I think it's a bit funky. We're in A minor. And so when I'm writing something, when it comes to melody, you know, so that's pretty, let's say, that's the drums and bass taken care of there. It's going to be something around like that. Now we need a vocal over the top, a melody. Now, the simple thing that we go to, so, da 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 da, something like that, where you're following that chord progression down, which is the most obvious thing to do. And it's one I always try and stay away from because it's just batshit boring. Occasionally a song calls for it, but not really. So I'd like, you know, I don't know if you'd call it counterpoint, but I want to do something that's not following that so much. So, da 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 da, something like that. Pretty cool riff though. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the business with the right hand. So the problem with playing with the right hand slappy thing, it's great if you're a solo or a duo, and you know, and you're not playing with drums or anything or a bass, and you just, you know, can riff away, keep this right hand going, thumping away, and it keeps everything moving along. I always found problems when I started playing bands, but if I'm playing with a band, I've got to completely change that. Because I'm all over with the bass and everything should be. Everyone looks at me like, who's this deckhand? They probably don't look like that, but I feel like they look like that. So, anyway, that is going to be a work in progress. I'm going to try and get that finished by, it's Sunday today. I'm going to get that finished by Wednesday and record it at my friend's recording studio on Wednesday. And then I'll take the camera down and we'll see what we can come up with that. To be continued, because I'll have to come up with something a bit more, some lyrics or something like that. It's in minor. So, what have I been thinking about? Lately I've been thinking about Jungian psychology a bit, the shadow. What does that even mean? I think a quick rundown, as far as I can see it, is that you've got your conscious, they call it the ego or whatever, but you doing your thing. But there's an underlying you, which has a purpose. And I think if you're going well, and you're not trying too hard, and you're almost going with the flow in a way, things will kind of happen for you, as long as you're not being a dick about it or anything. And you hopefully are doing your purpose, whatever that is, whatever your subconscious thinks you should be doing. It has an opinion. And if you are doing something against what that opinion of your subconscious is, you don't realize it, but you start getting really stressed out. And and if you go bad enough, last year I was doing something I really didn't want to do. I got away from music for a bit. And then the subconscious just reached up and grabbed its nasty little hand and took the steering wheel away from me. He said, you're not driving this car anymore. You don't know where you're going. So, hence this channel and everything. It's like, when you're a songwriter, you think you're reasonably good, otherwise you wouldn't do it. You think that's enough. Like, hey, I'm just going to sit here and do my thing. But the fact is, you've got to be more than that. You have to put yourself out there, which means work. You got to work at it. And maybe that's what that record could be. You got to work at it. Maybe. That's a bit naff. Jungian psychology. So, Jung was a cool cat. There's the shadow in all of this, and rather than trying to run away from it, you got to accept it as who you are, that you're not going to be perfect. But it's nice to try sometimes. That's a nice chord. Isn't that lovely? We got, basically it's F, I'd say. So we've got F, A, and C, which, so that's basically F with a G on it. And then we have an open E string. And will we resolve to the C? Or we go there. What's a more interesting thing? Maybe we could put like one of these augmented crazy things in there. I love this augmented thing. If you can get there, wherever you are, let's say you're playing here, which will be, let's pretend it's on the 5th fret, so that'll be A. You can resolve to the next, so we can resolve to, let's say, A sharp. And I think, because you can just go one fret up from wherever you play this augmented chord, and you can resolve there. But I think you can resolve on here note. So at that point, we're on the A, and we're going up to A sharp, so we go A diminished, whatever it is, to A sharp. But I think, let's say we'll take this note here, what note would that be? God, what a douchey little note. A flat. Or would it be G sharp? I don't know, depends. Let's just call it G sharp. So if we play here, that same chord, I'm hoping we can actually resolve it to an A. So, no, that doesn't work. Fail. It's basically the same chord. Do. Okay, it doesn't work there. Can we resolve there? Nah, I think just stick to the top one. So if we're here, let's go up the next, any chord that's got this next thing here in it. So, yes, there's my crap diminished lesson for someone who doesn't know what they're doing. But maybe, so if we're doing this chord progression on A minor, I want to try and keep those fours in. Then I'm doing the same pattern, but just putting up half step. So I want to get that pattern there. And then we can move that pattern all around this place and might end up with something a bit interesting. So, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, then what if when I'm writing a song, talking about the subconscious and Jung and everything, the subconscious, definitely if you're doing any creative art, has a big say. And you've got to be really, you've got to observe what happens. So I've got this little riff, and then I might be chatting to the kids, or having a cup of tea, or a smack pan of coffee. And then, like just then, as you saw, I end up playing F over G, I think it is, with that lovely E in it. And you might think, oh, that's just something else he's doing it on a different tag. I had no idea I was going to play that chord. But what I normally find is that when I'm writing, if I come up with a halfway decent riff, somewhere within the vicinity, time-wise, I will be playing other chords that I don't realise that actually go with that. And if I pay attention, I can see that this chord is going to make an appearance in that song. In fact, almost in a coda you could think. So you got this funky thing, it's walking over the place, we can take it up to E. Don't worry about the fret buzzers. This isn't one of those kind of dickhead things where you sit around and do 1,000 takes and pretend you're Jimmy Page or something. You know, listen to Jimmy Page in the 70s, mate. If you play rock and roll guitar or anything, he should be the idol. He didn't give a shit. He just went for it. And later on in the 70s, he kind of, things got a bit rough for old Jimmy. But, man, he went for it, and I respect that. And, you know, I don't care what anyone says. Song remains the same. I think it's the greatest electric guitaring ever. The tone he gets out of that Les Paul in Dazed and Confused and stuff, insane. If whatever they said about him, he can just point back to that and say, I did that. What have you done? You know, it reminds me of Marlon Brando when he got obese at the end there and just ate caviar and shit. And I said, oh, you've got all obese. And he goes, I've slept with the most beautiful woman in the world of my generation, you know. I've done everything I need to do. What have you done? And I find that over-technical guitaring bores the shit out of me. Unless it's classical guitaring, which I love. I actually went and did my classical grades during COVID. And I thought maybe I should really stick at this. And then I found this young lass on YouTube called Stephanie Jones. And I just realised, man, you know, like, that's a lifetime gig, playing classical guitar. I'll play it to my friends, and for our own personal enjoyment. But yeah, it's a tough gig. I think you really need to stick at it. If you're going to be a classical guitarist, that's all you do. I think you just don't do anything else. And look, I was just listening to George Benson's Breezing before, and I'm seriously considering selling up and buying one of those Ibanez's, you know. So anyway, getting back to the songwriting process, I can see that lovely chord resolving. So we're in the minor, and we're going around here, we're kind of moody, and we're going to go up here, which is a bit trippy. It's almost like a key change. I think it is a key change. Whatever it is. Then we go back to A, we go up to the D, try it up there. When I'm on the E minor, I always like hitting that one. D sharp, man, it's a bit of a bugger to get to. So low. And then it's almost, it could be a build up or something like that, then we can go, I don't know how we're going to get there. This is bollocks. It's going to take a lot longer. But I'll keep you informed, see how we go. So anyway, getting back to Troy Kingi. I might just play it. Scott, hold it. Have a listen to this. This is a track called Is the Honeymoon Gone? And it's a killer. And it's the use, whoever, I don't know if he wrote the horn parts, maybe he did. He's got this bass player, Marika. Let me pop out over here and find her name. What's her name? Marika Hodgson. Oh my goodness, what a smoking bass player, man. You got to check these lines out. I'm just going to play this. If it gets demonetized, that's all right. But check out this riff when it kicks in. Listen to that sound.
Like yours, better than dopamines and my mama's top drum. Egotricity falls from dark skies when I look into your eyes. I know where I stand when I fall. I always land so between your sticky quicksand. Hold on to that youthful love. How long till we don't give a stuff? Remember when we got bass and corner was a sunrise and love this in the South I'm aware it's like a woman
The wife and I were lucky enough to see him over in the Hawke's Bay in New Zealand. It was at Outfield Festival. And what a gig, mate. You know, there's all these young whippersnappers there. I don't know. They're either into full-on electronic stuff that's kind of ballless, you know. I'm from the 90s, man. We had Prodigy and stuff. We pumped, you know. This stuff is just so sweet. Anyway, so they were doing that. Or otherwise, it's 3 chord wonders strumming about losing their boyfriends or something like that, you know. And then he came on. Full big band, horn section, just went off. You know, and it was funny because they're all little whippersnappers kind of spread, and all the boomers, not boomers, what are we, Generation Y or something like that, just took over. Good times. Only problem I had with it, and it's a problem I've got with all concerts I've been outdoors lately, is those bloody line array speakers. I have to say that is shit, right? You know, okay, when I go to a show, I don't want to be able to talk to the person next to me. I want to be fully immersed. I want waves of sound hitting me. Oh, it's not good to my ears. Oh, God, give me a break, man. You know, like, for Christ's sake. You know, Beethoven didn't need fucking ears, did he? Excuse my French. So, look, that's the experience I want. And it just wasn't loud enough. I think something goes on with the phasing of those line array speakers, where in one spot will be loud and you move, 2 centimeters this way and then it's quiet again. And that's a major problem I've got with big gigs now. Just not loud enough. Having said that, it was brilliant. The band's smoking. And if you listen to this album, you will not be... your life will be better for it, let me just say that. I'm going to, below, there's a documentary on the making of this album, which is brilliant. And the story behind this is something else. So I'll post that. Make sure you watch it if you're interested. I think if you like music, you should watch it. About Troy, I don't know a hell of a lot about him. I know he's does acting, and he's been a musician in New Zealand, a singer in New Zealand, singing for ages. He's just completed 10 albums in 10 genres in 10 years, which, I think it was good to get off his ass and say, hey, I've got to do this stuff. But I think he should have given up halfway through and just spent more time. Every album he put out of those 10 albums was really good. This one, and the one before this, Psycho Aztec Technology, I think it was, smoking. This one is, it's one of the greatest albums ever made, I think. He did a folk album after this, which had some wonderful tracks on it, but probably could have done with a bit more time. And then he did an 80s album, and I have to say I felt the same about everything else he did there. He ended up getting writer's block. And all this became a bit stressful for him, and this thing is not supposed to be stressful. Life's stressful enough. So you set yourself goals, but if the goals get in your way, get rid of the goals. Change them. Jesus, why be beholden to who you were 10 years ago? Imagine if I was beholden to who I was when I was 18. Bugger that. So, although in some ways that person's always within us. But the music always has to come first. With this one, you nailed it. So, there we go. What else is going on? A little rant about the speakers, the old guitars, Shiva. Oh. Use the last of heaven's stardust lined up parallel. That's a hell of a lyric. I'll play another one. It's kind of similar to that one, I suppose. That's another work in progress. I think I've got a lyric for it. I hear her cry. She's out on a limb, the wind is starting to blow. Am I a coward? Oh, just a little slow. Sometimes I wonder myself who I really am. Can I ever know? Give me some patience. Can you make it quick? 'Cause I gotta go. Gotta go. I go. Da, da, da. Hey, lyric. Da, 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 da. There we go. Anyone out there got a chorus for me? Or a chorus pedal, actually. I do like the chorus pedal on the acoustic. I think it sounds great. Like Rune YR or whatever on Physical Graffiti. Yeah, I think that might do us for today, eh? What do you reckon? Check out Troy. See you next time.